Page 91. Dealer. Nia had twins, a boy named Xavier and a girl named Jada, and the population in our apartment increased by 3, not 2, because LaRue moved in. Grandma gave her bedroom to the new family. Now she slept on the couch and I slept on the floor on a small mattress that we hid behind the curtains during the day. In no time it felt like those babies took over the whole apartment. The kitchen counter was covered with plastic baby bottles and cans of baby formula, and the garbage can was a heap of stinky Pampers. Hand-washed baby clothes and maternity bras hung in the bathroom. I spent as much time as I could outside. Terrell and I were hanging around on the bench talking to Precious and listening to 50 Cent on Terrell's boombox. He was wearing his Black Disciples colors, his cap turned to the right and his sleeves rolled up to show off his new tattoos. Precious wore a lot of eye makeup, and her fingernails were long and painted blue. Her tight white t-shirt said, "So many boys, so little time." Page 92. The material was so thin that you could see the pink bra underneath. "Your daddy see you dressed like that?" Terrell asked. Precious's face hardened. "He ain't around no more." When she talked, you saw the stud in her tongue. "What happened?" Terrell asked. "What do you think happened?" She shot back as if it were obvious. She glanced at the boombox balanced on Terrell's knees. "Why you got that hunk of junk? Can't you afford an iPod?" "What's the point?" Terrell asked, slightly annoyed. "Get a lot more songs than those cheap bootleg CDs you play." Precious spoke in a taunting, angry way, as if challenging his manhood, so different from that cute little girl in the pink jacket a few years back who was so proud that her daddy lived with her. Terrell played it slow and cool, like he had nothing to prove. "Trouble with that iPod is you can't listen with your peeps," he said, gesturing toward me. But the truth was, putting music on an iPod required a computer, and neither Terrell nor I had one. "Want to go out sometime?" Terrell asked her. "With who?" Precious asked haughtily, and pretended to look around for someone worthy of her. "Who do you think?" Terrell asked. She gave him a cool appraisal. "You? You ain't nothing but a 2-bit crack dealer. Where are you gonna go? You got money? You got a car? You even old enough to drive? 'Cause I ain't going on no bus date. If I can get a car if I want," Terrell said. "Uh-huh, sure you can." A hype came up, all ashy skin and bones, missing teeth and wearing filthy, ragged clothes. We called them the Walking Dead. She handed Terrell some money, and he pointed at a shorty leaning against a wall, head bent, thumbs flying over the controls of a PSP. The kid couldn't have been more than 9 years old. He led the hype inside the building. Dealers used shorties to hold their crack, weed, and pills, because the worst thing the cops could do was confiscate the drugs and take the kid home to his mama. Everyone knew the courts wouldn't put 8- and 9-year-olds in juvie for drugs. The mothers knew it too. Some of them waited until the cops left and then sent their kids back out to work. "So maybe you got some money," Precious said. But what she didn't know was that almost every penny Terrell earned went to the disciples, not Terrell. She took a compact out of her bag and checked her makeup. Terrell cleared his throat. "So, want to go out?" Precious gazed up over her compact at him. "You better have a car, and you better take me someplace nice." She snapped the compact shut, spun on her toes, and walked away. Terrell grinned and held out his palm for me to slap. "Friday night's starting to look good." The day drifted past. I hung around the bench with Terrell. Girls played jump rope. Young mothers pushed babies in strollers, and old folks hobbled past on canes. No one else came by for drugs, and after a while Terrell's shorty said he had to go. Then Bubbles showed up. "Look what I got." He fanned out a bunch of King Chicken coupons. Buy one, get one free. I was hungry. Maybe the food stamps and welfare money that month had gone toward, most of the food stamps and welfare money that month had gone toward baby formula and Pampers. Terrell hadn't left the bench in hours. He had to be hungry, too. Can't, said Terrell. Bubbles looked around. Come on, you'll be back in 20 minutes. No one'll know you was gone. On the way to King Chicken, we ran into Lightbulb, being pulled by Snoop, who'd grown to be a medium-sized dog, but was still as wild as a pup. You gotta train that dog, Bulb, Terrell said. He's trained, Lightbulb insisted. Hey, I said, Ms. Rodriguez wants to know why you won't apply for that Hewlett Academy. My mama can't pay for no bus, Lightbulb said. Maybe Bulb ain't smart enough, Terrell said. Ms. Rodriguez says he's one of the smartest they've ever seen. Him? Terrell pointed at our friend. No way. Lightbulb hung his head. You guys go ahead, I said to Terrell and Bubbles. I'll catch up. When they were out of earshot, Lightbulb scuffed his foot against the ground. I don't want to go, Deshawn. Just want to stay where I am. But this is nowhere. Lines appeared in his brow. I'm happy here. For now, but then what? You gonna be a gangbanger? Lightbulb shook his head. No. What are you gonna do? I didn't answer because I didn't know. We watched the cars pass on Abernathy. All those people with places to go. And we had nowhere to go. Snoop started to tug on the leash again. See ya, Lightbulb said, and let Snoop drag him away. A few minutes later, I joined Terrell and Bubbles in a booth at King Chicken. They were working through a bucket of legs and breasts and slurping from big cups of soda. I'm taking out Precious Friday night, Terrell announced. I thought she only dates older guys, said Bubbles. Terrell grinned. Older guys. And me. She said you had to drive, I reminded him. I'll get a car, Terrell replied, as if it were as easy as buying a candy bar. Jamar showed me how. Just because you learned how to steal one doesn't mean you know how to drive one, I said. How hard could it be? Terrell waved at the traffic outside. Look at those dumbasses driving around. The door to King Chicken swung open, and Marcus marched in. Terrell and Bubbles had their backs to the door and didn't see him, but Terrell must have seen it in my face because he started to turn around. Wham! Marcus smacked him on the side of the head. In the next booth, a lady with two small kids screamed. Bubbles cowered in the corner of the booth, his eyes squeezed shut and his arms covering his head. I jumped up, my lap dark with spilled soda. Terrell was too stunned by the blow to move. Wham! Marcus smacked him again. Everyone in King Chicken stopped eating. Some people hurried for the door. Terrell huddled against Bubbles, who was still cowering in the corner. Marcus raised his open hand again. I say you could leave that bench? Wasn't nothing happening, Terrell stammered. Marcus grabbed him by the collar and yanked him up with one hand until they were practically nose to nose. You don't decide that, understand? You don't decide nothing. You just do what I tell you. I'm telling you, Terrell said in a quavering voice. Wasn't no one buying nothing. Marcus flinched and glanced around. He grabbed Terrell by the hair and hauled him out of the booth. Ow, ow, man, stop it! Terrell wailed at Marcus, as Marcus dragged him out of King Chicken. Ow, let go, man, I'll go. But Marcus didn't let go. He dragged Terrell into the parking lot. I followed, keeping my distance. Bubbles took off down the sidewalk as fast as his big, bouncy gut would allow. Still holding Terrell by the hair, Marcus backed him against the wall.